why is it all about relationships? Hey, I am Chuck, the bureaucrat, and I want to tell you that the Pentagon runs like a giant computer that functions on biological components. And those components are human beings. Each person in the bureaucracy is functioning like a microprocessor. They take in information, they perform functions, and then they generate an output. Now, these folks aren't simply shuffling from their inbox to their outbox, at least most of them aren't. And that's because they perform one additional external function, and that is they request information or they error check information they've received. Now, of course, the actual functions that individuals perform has a lot to do with their role, their rank, their education, and their experience. And from this, you can start to ask, what's an office? Well, on one hand, it's just an assembly of these components, but it is a lot more than a wire diagram of how the office is supposed to be staffed, because that doesn't take into consideration that natural human variation. Operators are different than analysts. XOs are different than AOs. Now, there's some people who are going to say, well, if it's just a giant computer, why wouldn't you automate the whole thing? Well, first of all, these people are not performing simple rote mathematical functions. They're competing for resources. So they have to constantly adapt their functions, their organizations, what they take in and what they put out, so that they can just keep up with all the other offices. And the second thing is, the Pentagon, like almost every bureaucracy, has an almost infinite level of complexity that's impossible for a single mind to hold. And what that means is if you try to automate everything, that it's almost impossible to capture every single detail of every single function that's going on. And so you're going to hear a lot of people say, it's all about relationships. And it is. But this is the reason why. The flow of information, the processing of information, access to that information, it is all driven by your ability to have relationships with people who are shaping that flow. I want you to succeed, but to do that, you're going to have to navigate this human terrain. And so I'd like you to take a look at this playlist that shows what the different layers of bureaucracies are, how they function together, and how you can start shaping that flow of information.